All right, Amir,
All right.
thank you so much for all those points. Let's talk about it a little bit more. Let's get more into detail. So first off, you can't borrow down payment anymore. I know a lot of folks that I've helped have borrowed from either line of credits or RRSPs, which is a pretty big go-to to get your down payment. How many people do you think this will affect?
That's a good question, Mo. So what you have to keep in mind is that the flex down product that CMHC had, it wasn't a huge popular product, but it was there to help people when they needed it, right? So if you needed some money and you needed to borrow from your line of credit, from your credit card, whatever it is, like if you're buying a $300,000 house, you need 15,000, and 5 or 10,000 is coming from a line of credit. It doesn't add a huge amount of liability to you, or it doesn't add a huge amount of liability monthly to your costs. And you're like, hey, I might be able to take this money and close on a house. Unfortunately, you can't do that anymore. You're right. There are people who used to get RSP loans and then use that towards their down payment as well. Unfortunately, none of that borrowing will be allowed anymore. I don't think this is going to make a massive difference to our market. People may have to wait a little bit longer. They may have to save a little bit longer. Or really, if they've had those credit facilities for a time, maybe take those monies out and keep them with you for 3 to 4 months or 6 months, and then use it for down payment. Kind of the same thing.
So in theory, they've pretty much just eliminated the ability you had to get more debt to then use that towards your down payment to have the ultimate debt.
Yeah, absolutely, right. And that's what they're trying to limit here is your total household debt. That's what they're trying to clamp down on.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes clear sense as well. Credit score, that's huge. That's the first question banks always ask my clients. So what's your credit score? And then they talk about employment and all of that as well, right? So now it's 680. How many people have you helped? Or how many people do you usually help that have a credit score of below 680 and now they won't be able to get finance until they remedy that and bring the score up higher to 680?
Yeah, and this is a huge change. CMHC and all the other insurers, they have traditionally underwritten and approved mortgages for people with credit scores of even 600, right? Anything above 600, you have usually been able to get approved without too much of a hassle, too much hurdle, right? So this is changing. This is massive. Although a lot of people do have impeccable credit, it's over 680, sometimes in the 700, sometimes even over 700. But the reality is that there's a lot of people that fall in between the range of 650 to 680. It's a massive amount of people in that range. I could say probably 30 to 40% of the clients that we see would fall between the 650 to 680 range, especially people in their, in a younger life stage, right? People who are first-time home buyers or someone who's just, graduating from university, they've just gotten a job. As students, we don't really care too much about making our payments. That's just how things are, right? That's not what your focus is in life, right? So now you have to be focused on this, right? So the good thing is that if you're between 650 to 680, if you're, let's say, 640, 630, 650, you are able to get your credit score up to 680. It may take a few months, sometimes 3 to 4 months, sometimes even 6. So all we have to do is we have to do better planning now. Before, anyone could just jump in. As long as affordability was there, they could pretty much attain home ownership. Really, if you could afford it, you could get it. Now, there's going to be more planning required, right? Those pre-approvals are going to be even more important. And judging your situation, all of that has to be done upfront, and then plan for 6 months from now if that's what it takes.
So Amir, let's say one of my clients, they printed the credit report tonight and they're just shy of 60. They're either at 650 or 660. Are they able to reach out to you? You process the credit report and outline exactly which debts they need to attend to. So then 6 months down the road, there's a higher chance of the credit score being at 680 or higher, which then ultimately allows them to buy a house.
100%. I mean, this is a service that pretty much we've been providing our clients. And really any mortgage broker or bank would help with this, right? It's a very basic service. So yes, I mean, if someone reaches out to us, it's case by case basis. Sometimes it's about paying off a couple of debts. Sometimes it's about making payments on time. Whatever it is, we will review that credit report with the client one on one, and then we'll give them points and we'll give them an action plan to follow, so their credit score, they're able to achieve the credit score that is required for home ownership now.
So in summary to that point, guys, if by chance you're falling short of 680 credit score, don't lose faith. Just print that report, get in contact with myself or Mayor. We'll hop on a conference call and we'll talk over everything and lay out the points that you can kind of work towards to put yourself in a better position to be able to get to home ownership in the next 6, 12 months, or maybe even quicker. And I'm sure it's all a case by case scenario and it comes down to that. Lastly, Omer, tell me one more time, what are these numbers for the income debt ratio?
So you're going to see this all over the media. You're going to see it on Facebook everywhere. You're going to see it on Instagram everywhere. Even on our page, you're going to see it, right? And it may not make a lot of sense because it doesn't, right? Like you're going to see it in the press release and it's going to say your debt servicing has gone down from 3944 to 3542. Like, what does that mean? They're just jumbled numbers, and how do you communicate like that to the mass public? It doesn't make any sense. So let me give you a little bit. Let me try to explain that. So the way banks qualify mortgages is they look at your income versus your liabilities. So they look at how much you make and how much of that money should be going towards your liabilities. Because the main thing is that the banks still want you to have a decent lifestyle. You should still be able to afford food and shelter and car insurance and whatever it is, right? You shouldn't be house poor when you get into a house. So the way these calculations work are before July 1st, 39% of your gross income should be going towards your mortgage payments and your mortgage payments, property taxes, heat. So to carry a house, no more than 39% of your income should be going towards carrying that house. Plain and simple, right? But they're changing it. They're scaling it back. So before, like I said, it was 39% of your income that used to be used to qualify you for your house. Now it goes from 39 to 35%. So there's a 4% decrease. So what does that mean, right? I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. What it does is it takes away about 12% of your purchasing power. So for example, if you make $100,000 and you can qualify for a $500,000 property today, after this change, it will be somewhere around $440,000. It's significant. It's significant. And also you have to keep in mind that this changes everything. So Moaeez, do you have clients that have been pre-approved recently? Because I know you work with a lot of first-time home buyers.
Tons that just got approved a week ago, and tons that wanted to get approved this coming week as well.
So everyone that was pre-approved rather, for a mortgage a week ago, they need to go and see their bank or broker again, because their pre-approvals are no longer valid. They can hold their pre-approval in their hand. After July 1st, it is no longer valid. So if you are pre-approved, if the bank has given you the A-OK for whatever purchase price it is, make sure you buy before July 1st. Even if it's June 30th, you put your ink to paper on June 30th, you're fine. But if it's after that, you have to get pre-approved again, because your purchasing power is going to go down.
So if you got your pre-approval now, regardless of which bank you went to, regardless of how firm it was, even if it was on paper, after July 1st, it's just completely invalid. But if you have a firm agreement of purchase in place and you've already purchased a house before July 1st, then the bank is going to honor the original pre-approval, correct?
Well, so if you've purchased a house, then you don't have a pre-approval anymore. You have a firm commitment.
Yeah.
So firm commitment and pre-approval are two different things. So if you have purchased a house, you have a firm commitment, that the bank won't take away. The bank can't take away a firm commitment, right? But if you haven't purchased a house, all you've done is tested your ability to purchase, which is a pre-approval or a pre-qualification, yes, it will no longer be valid. So make sure if you're in that position, you're out in the market, you're thinking about buying something, I think it's a good time to get into the market right now. Your affordability your purchasing power will go down by about 12%. I mean, that's substantial.
I want to point out really quickly, guys, the numbers that Omer mentioned, that right now, if you qualify for 500,000 purchase price, and after July 1st, it'll come down to, let's say, around 440,000. That is a difference between finding a brand new townhouse in the Durham region or finding a much older bungalow, much smaller in space, might have issues, may not have AC. It's actually it's a substantial amount of difference in regards to what you find in real estate inventory. So don't take it lightly in regards to the overall number, but it's huge, man. Like, you gotta take this seriously for sure, especially if you're a first-time home buyer.
Absolutely. You know, when CMHC made that 90-minute speech in front of the in front of the Congress, and they said things like the prices are going to go down, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. You know, they said this is our best estimate, this is our best guess, and they talked about, you know, increasing down payment to 10%, but it's not their purview, right? It's increasing down payment from 5% to 10% is in the purview of the Minister of Finance. So then they go and do something like this, where they change the way mortgages are underwritten. It's terrible. You know, we're not happy about it. Nobody's happy about this. Affordability, everyone should be able to get into a house. I think our adjudication on underwriting policies at the banks, with the stress tests and everything, I think they were very prudent to begin with. This is terrible. We're not happy about this. Yeah, I wish I could tell you anything different, man.
Well, summarizing it from a mortgage standpoint, Omer, you mentioned everything very, very clearly. I think it'll make sense to everyone. If by chance it doesn't, you guys are always welcome to DM Omer. He'll respond to you probably ASAP, like he does to me and to my clients. Man doesn't really sleep. He's always working. But from a real estate standpoint, guys, this may affect the market, because a huge chunk of the buyers currently purchasing houses right now, they're first-time home buyers. And if you eliminate, let's say, half of first-time home buyers, I don't know if that's going to be the actual number, just for conversation's sake. Let's say half the overall first-time home buyers cannot buy a house anymore because either they don't qualify because of debt ratio or because they don't meet the credit score criteria. It's possible that the first-time home buyer properties that now sell at multiple offers will not sell at multiple offers, or they maybe will sit on the market for 30 days before they sell, whereas right now they're selling about 3 to 4 days, and they sell over asking. They sell very quickly because there's way too much demand for them and not enough supply. But as the weather gets better, as summer's getting around, inventory is going to rise as well. So it's really hard to say what's going to happen, but as always, it comes down to supply and demand. And let's see how much this actually affects people, if it even affects people at all. We know just the clients that we work with, but we can't speak on behalf of everybody else as a whole. So we're going to have to wait all the way up until July 1st to see exactly what effect it has on the market. But as of right now, it's so hard to say whether the market's going to go up or down. But it's wrong if you think, oh, the market's going to crash now, I'm just going to wait to get a deal. No, it didn't happen with COVID. It's probably not going to happen now. If anything, it'll affect it a little bit, but not that much where the market's going to crash and you can pick up a deal 100, 200K below asking price. Thoughts, dude?
No, I think you're absolutely right. And also, really, if let's say your prices go down by 7%, but your affordability goes down by 12, you've actually lost out there, right? Because real estate, at the end of the day, will go up, right? It is one of those things that you hold will go up. It's a forced piggy bank for you at the end of the day, right? When you pay rent, that money is gone. You're never going to see it. When you pay a mortgage payment, half of it is going in interest, just like rent, but the other half is going into principal. So you're actually paying it down. You're seeing that money back, right? So the sooner that you buy, the sooner you start saving. The sooner you start saving, the sooner you start making equity. And yes, real estate will do what it has done in generations from generations. It will continue to appreciate because supply and demand, just like Mo said, doesn't change. This is the concept of basic economics, right? And we're not going to be able to build land. It's what we have. So supply and demand doesn't change. And I think if you are thinking about getting into the market, if your plan was to get into the market in the next 6-7 months, talk to us right now. Talk to Mo, talk to me. There may be something that we can help out with to help you get into the market right away, even if it's taking advantage of of leveraging down payment, because that's going to end. So even if you can leverage some down payment and get into the market right now, it may be something that you need to think about.
Well said, Amir. So guys, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for coming. If you have any questions, reach out to Amir or myself. We're always happy to guide and help and answer questions. At the same time, guys, Amir and I have been thinking about doing a home buyer seminar, and we've done many in the past before, but we did it in person. It was more engaging. It was more fun. We got a chance to hang out with you guys. Obviously through COVID, it would be wrong for us to do that. So how would you guys feel if we did a virtual home buyer seminar? If there are people out there that would find value from that, please let us know so we can arrange that for you in the coming days. And most likely we can share the exact same knowledge that we did share in person in our seminars before virtually. I think we have enough technology to do this very, very safely. We just need to know if you guys want this from us or you guys would appreciate it from us. So let us know, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Thanks, we won't have treats this time, though. That's the difference.
No Starbucks
Usually
coffee.
when we do it, we have treats. We have coffee. We've got other things. We've got muffins. We've got sometimes pizza. So yes, you won't have treats. That's COVID for you. Bittersweet. You'll have us.
Coffee. You'll have us. All right, guys, we're going to end off that note, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you, sir. Take care.